Someone dismisses you, interrupts you, takes what was yours, and you smile. You say, "It's fine. I don't mind. Whatever works for you." Because the alternative, the conflict, the tension, the disruption, feels more dangerous than swallowing yourself whole. So you keep the peace. Every day. In every room. With almost every person. And you have been doing it for so long you have forgotten it is something you are doing at all. But what if keeping the peace is not actually peaceful? What if it is one of the most violent things you do to yourself? Stay with me. Because what psychology says about peacekeeping will change how you understand yourself completely. Psychologists call it the Fawn response. It is the fourth survival response, after fight, flight, and freeze. And unlike fight or flight, Fawn does not feel like a survival response. It feels like kindness. It feels like being easygoing, flexible, low maintenance, good at relationships. But underneath all that agreeableness, there is a person who learned very early that their peace depended on other people's comfort, that your needs were negotiable, your feelings were inconvenient, your truth was a risk you could not afford. Think about the first time you learned that speaking up cost you something. Safety, love, approval, someone's good mood. You learned the lesson the brain always learns from repeated experience. Silence equals safety. Agreement equals love. And so you built an entire identity around being the one who causes no trouble, the one who accommodates, who adjusts, who makes it easier for everyone else to be in the room. And on the outside, it looks like emotional maturity, like selflessness, like strength. But on the inside, it is a person disappearing, quietly, gradually, one unspoken truth at a time. Here is what the research shows about chronic conflict avoidance. And it is not comfortable reading. Studies show that chronic peacekeeping, what therapists call fawning, is directly linked to loss of identity, chronic anxiety, and resentment that has nowhere to go. Because the feelings you swallow do not disappear. They go underground, and they find other ways out. As passive resentment, sudden, disproportionate outbursts, physical symptoms, a slow background withdrawal from people you love. You were not born this way. No one is. This is a learned strategy. And the first time it worked, it made complete sense. If keeping quiet kept you safe as a child, in a home, in a school, in a relationship, your brain filed it as the correct response. It then generalized to every relationship, every workplace, every room where you felt your belonging was conditional. And you are so good at it now that you often agree before you even know what you are agreeing to. You read the room before you enter it. You shape yourself to fit before anyone even asks you to. Think about the last time you were in a group. Were you fully present? Or were you monitoring? Were you scanning for tension? Checking if someone was annoyed? Quietly preparing to manage a mood that had not even arrived yet. That is not flexibility. That is a nervous system on permanent alert, and it is exhausting you in ways you have stopped noticing. The cost of keeping the peace is not paid in single moments. It is paid in the slow erosion of knowing who you are. Over time, without realizing it, you stop consulting yourself at all. You go straight to, what does this situation need from me? And eventually, you lose the thread back to your actual preferences, actual limits, actual truth. Here is the part no one tells you. The people in your life who benefit from your peacekeeping, they are not necessarily bad people. They've simply learned that you will make yourself smaller so they do not have to. And you train them to expect it, which means the change, as uncomfortable as this is, begins with you, not with them. So where do you actually start? Because the idea of stopping, the panic it brings, is real and it matters. Step 1. Start noticing the moment before you agree. Not to change it yet, just to see it. Before the yes leaves your mouth, pause. One breath. Ask, is this actually fine? Or am I making it fine? That question is not about creating conflict. It is about creating contact with yourself first. Step 2. Practice the small no before you attempt the large one. Order what you actually want. Take the seat you prefer. Say, actually, I would rather not, about something small and low stakes. Every small, honest choice rewires a little of the pattern. The brain learns, I can have a preference and still be safe. That experience, repeated in small ways, begins to dismantle the belief that your needs are dangerous. Step 3. Learn to tolerate the discomfort of someone else's disappointment without interpreting it as your failure. Other people's discomfort is not always yours to solve. Sit with that for a moment, because it will feel wrong before it feels true. Here's what I see in the people I work with who carry this pattern. They are almost always the most emotionally intelligent person in the room. They can read a room in seconds. They anticipate needs before they are expressed. They hold space beautifully. They are extraordinary. And every single one of those gifts is being spent on people and situations that have not earned them. Because they are going out on fear, not choice. When your care comes from choice, it is a gift. When it comes from fear, it is a ransom. Step 4. Reconnect with your own wants deliberately. Not big life questions, simple daily ones. What do I actually want for dinner tonight? What temperature do I want the room? What do I need from this conversation? These small questions rebuild the muscle of self-consultation that peacekeeping has slowly atrophied. You cannot give what you do not have, and you cannot know yourself if you never ask. Step 5. Understand that conflict is not the opposite of love. In fact, the ability to disagree and remain is one of the deepest forms of it. Relationships that cannot hold your honest no were never as safe as you believed. And relationships that can will grow stronger for it. Think about the relationships in your life that feel the most real. I promise they involve at least some friction, some honesty, some unsmoothed edges. The peace you are keeping is not real peace. Real peace is what happens when two people can tell each other the truth. And here is what changes when people begin to reclaim their voice. The relationships that stay deepen in ways they never expected. The exhaustion begins to lift. Because they are no longer spending all their energy managing a self that is not fully them. And they discover something that surprises them every time. People actually like them more. The real them, not the performance. Because the people who only wanted the performance were never truly there for you. And now you can finally tell the difference. You were not born to be easy. You were born to be real. And real is so much more beautiful than easy. Drop a comment below. Tell me, what is one thing you have been keeping the peace about that you are ready to stop swallowing? I read every one. Share this with someone who always says they are fine, who never complains, who you sense is quietly disappearing. They need to hear this. New videos every week on the psychology of becoming who you actually are rather than who you learned to be. Subscribe so you do not miss what comes next. Because there is a version of you that helps not from fear, but from genuine overflow. And that version changes everything it touches. You kept the peace for so long because you believed the cost was worth it. It was never worth it. You were always worth more than the silence. The world does not need your silence. It needs your truth. Carefully, courageously, finally, yours. I will see you next week.